Hello, Saberland. Vader's Vault here, bringing you the moment that you've all been waiting for. Well, 14 of you anyway. This is the culmination of over a year of design and development of the ultimate TFU, the Force Unleashed, Starkiller Galen Merrick replica saber. We bring this to you with great pride. We really love this design. We spent a lot of time poring over screenshots and in-game shots and concept art to kind of come together with what we thought was the best combination of all aspects of the design, and bringing it to you in a fully functional working prop hilt. This saber is a far cry from the replicas that you see on eBay from time to time. Most of those are glued and press fit together from various and sundry light gauge tubing. This saber being fully engineered and designed by the great Ace Rocket of orbital machining and CNC machined with great care and precision. Every single part you see on this saber was carefully thought out with form and function. Let's just start at the very front of the saber. Of course, it's got that Graflex S-curve front that we are all so fond of, as well as the large bunny ears up at the top. Very straight, very accented by the height, as opposed to the real Graflex, which are more like thin, bent metal. We've got the real Graflex brass pins, the charge pins on this side, as opposed to the either nothing or just metal pieces glued in place like I've seen on some. We've got, we spent a lot of time going over the screenshots to make sure that we get most of the parts that we have here replicated to a T. The control box top with the correct black stripes. We've got the crystal chamber, which was a major feature for us, of course, on this saber, because it takes up almost 2 inches of real estate on the hilt and is very open. So you can see that beautiful crystal and some of the internals. We're using very detailed heat sink on the optics end, coupled with detailed brass and copper pieces going into a natural raw quartz crystal, which is again held in an aluminum holder, which is the head of the chassis piece. We've also got the correct skeletal bars that you see in some of the concept art showing. We've seen some replicas that either don't have that or have some kind of stuff glued onto the side of a hilt and only allowing a very small window to be shown with the crystal. The glass eye replica, some shots show nothing in it, some shots show a red dot or a black dot. We decided to match blade color on this run with natural Pua abalone. Anyway, this is red abalone to go with the red blade that's in this saber. I think we do have one off-color blue hilt that we're doing that will have a blue abalone inlay in there. It's a 10mm cabochon that was made especially to fit something decorative. The function part of this saber is I wanted no wires to be seen in the crystal chamber. A lot of replicas of the Starkiller, since that is a huge open area, a lot of people go through the trouble of making that, but then they have all the wires showing, because it is very hard to get wires by to the LED and the switches and whatnot. The only other person that I know of that was able to keep it clean was the Judge Sabersmith limited run that he did last year, which was a very clean version as well. He was able to hide all his wires, but I wanted to keep that. I wanted to keep it elegant. I wanted to keep it functional without seeing the stuff that we need to make it look real, all the electronics. But following that, the back section here is threaded and screws off to reveal the electronics that allow the user to have access to their Crystal Focus Saber Core micro SD card, so they can, if they choose, adjust configurations or even change sound fonts if they will. The grip is also another area that we spent a lot of time on. In some shots it shows a brass ring, some shots it shows a black ring, some shots it shows a copper ring. And more of them show a copper colored emitter and grip ring than not. So we decided to try to find the best copper colored anodizing that we could. And we were able to source that, something that looks like a slightly tarnished copper. It looks great. We also went with the, as far as we know, the only correct tapered pommel section here, whereas it goes from this normal diameter and tapers up to a fatter diameter at the pommel, with the grip strips fading into them and being flush with this outside edge here. We've also got the correct orientation of the grip strips being in the X pattern to the center axis of the saber. We have on these sabers, it is engraved on the grip strips in a very unobtrusive place the number of the hilt. We did a total of 25 hilts in this run, not counting the prototype or engineering prototype that we have, but they're engraved right here. This one is 09 out of 25. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. Sorry if you can't see it in the video. You can go over to the FX Sabers forum and view the detailed pics, and we shall have it there. And the stand, which was provided to us by Halon Customs, is a mirrored acrylic stand done in both the Rebel insignia as well as the Imperial insignia inlaid into the Rebel down here, and the numbered plaque to go with it. This was a very exclusive run. It sold out faster than we had anticipated, and we had a lot of fun designing it and bringing it to fruition. It is probably the most complicated installation that I've ever done in this industry in the few years that I've been in it. I have definitely earned my PhD in cram fu, fitting the 10 wires into the hidden channels under the shroud and into the control box, into the LED engine 10 watt red LED in the top. And of course this run was powered by Plector Labs boards, the Crystal Focus and the Petite Crouton. Most boards were the Crystal Focus version 5, and we got a very good deal on that, with the fact that the Crystal Focus version 5 is such an awesome sounding board, and it really complemented this hilt well. We also have boot sounds provided by Avatar on the FX Sabers forum. He was kind enough to provide us with lots of clips to be used for boots from the game, as well as background menu background clips, as well as other things that we're going to be putting on the final SD card that we ship out with sabers. The one that's in this saber right now is our first version of the SD card. I am going to retweak it a little bit, adjust some of the lighting settings, some of the sensitivity settings, and be adding a few other things. All right, let's get it powered on so you can see what we're talking about. As of course, this is a functional prop.
I bring Darth Vader's enemies to justice.
And there's, of course, Galen Merrick announcing that he brings Darth Vader's enemies to justice. This is the TFU Starkiller sound font on the Novastar CF Sound Compendium CD Volume 2. Very hissy Sith ignition. I've got a slow pulse on it right now. Very deep hum. Blaster block sounds, lockup sounds, and when we go into the menu, we've got Proxy, of course,
TFU Starkiller,
announcing the menu, and of course we've got the meditation chamber, background music going on in the menu. Very tranquil. You can almost see him putting the saber together, but it was much harder for me, I think. We got Mad Cow's Korriban. Of course, you guys have seen that one before. And based off of Count Dooku's Episode 2. Let's
You
do it.
disappoint me. Accessing Imperial records.
As you can see up here, I'm operating the saber by 2 mini tactile switches, which are hidden under the control strip, and the plungers are machined aluminum switch hats. Very low profile, very unobtrusive, but very easy to operate, but not so much that you're going to knock them around while you're playing with the saber. Hopefully not dueling with it, because that would make me angry. We've got episode 2, the dark side version on Novastar's Compendium. We've got the Black Star sound font.
Episode 3, Sidious.
And the episode 3 Sidious, as well as your Lightsaber tracks. This represents our medium weathering scheme for those of you on the run who are undecided about what type of weathering you want. I wanted it to look dirty but not beat up. This is, after all, someone's weapon of war. I doubt they would let it get totally beat up, but it might be dirty from previous missions. So this is what I would call medium weathering. It is a little bit more dirty than what the light weathering would be. And of course, we still offer the totally clean version, as when they are clean, they are a sight to behold. The anodizing is very beautiful. The heavy weathering that we will do on these will actually have some inflicted damage, as much as it will pain me to do so, some actual dings, dents, and scratches. I will take zero pleasure in doing that for anybody who actually wants that. But this is what I would be considered closer to the game shots that I have, is that it's really dirty, not really beat up, but this represents the medium weathering. As you can see, it goes all the way around both sides. 1.3 millimeter charge port there on the side of the box. And then we still haven't worked out the kill plug solution, but soon enough we will have all that settled.
TFU Starkiller.
Alright.
You disappoint me.
We're going to get some shots in the dark so you can see the LED engine 10 watt at work, along with the Crystal Focus version 5. And there it is. Beautiful dark red blade. I have this font set with a heavy pulse. I'm going to probably take a lot of the heavy pulse out and replace it with a slower, more organic pulse. We got the blaster block, or the clash, and then we've got lockup to activate the other 2 dies on the LED for a very bright blade. Hopefully it's showing up on camera. It is very visible to the naked eye, but these things don't always show up in video. Fade on, fade off. Let's get a different font that doesn't have so much of the pulse.
Episode 2.
Go with Novastar's Black Star.
I found how your hatred has become your strength.
This is a very, very cool font on the version 5. I actually like it a lot better on version 5 than I had with previous versions. The sound is so much clearer and deeper. It is definitely a Sith font. Very cool. Very bright blade. This one just has a very subtle flicker on this font. I really like that. I am going to keep that setting, I think, for a couple of the fonts, tweaking it. But I am going to do some minimal pulse on just maybe a couple of the fonts. But that is something that I've got to do. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at our dream of the greatest Starkiller replica to date. We'll be working diligently to get these pumped out over the next few weeks. We just had some growing pains to get used to in putting them together and wiring them. But this is the first of our 15 that we are doing, and JQ Sabers over across the pond is of course doing their 10. Thanks again from Vader's Vault, and enjoy!